Hello. Welcome back to the garage. I got plenty going on. As you guys can see, I got parts kind of strewn out everywhere.
I don't see much of nothing. As a matter of fact, I can't even see you, sir.
But this is going to be a pretty short video because I have something interesting. It finally showed up in the mail. We're going to do a little bit of a product shout out. Something cool that just hit the market, actually. You guys might have seen them making waves now for the past 6 months, roughly. But we got a new wheel company. That is RWI. That stands for Rebel Wheel Incorporated? I don't know. RWI. Rebel Wheel Company. These guys started as Rebel Optics. I run their goggles. I am now running their wheels. And something pretty interesting about these, they look like a hybrid of 3 different wheels. If you guys haven't heard, GPS is no longer making ATV wheels. So RWI is now filling that gap in the market. And these wheels actually look like a glossy set of GPS wheels. They've got a dual bolt pattern, just like your Albas and your GPSs did, but they have this cool, almost like a DWT looking ring. It looks good, it looks sturdy. It doesn't look as soft as an Alba ring. I don't know, it might be, not sure yet, but also your backing plates are just like your GPS wheels. So you got your 3 pieces right here, they're riveted in. Those are your backing plates for your bolts to run through for your rings. They look like a very nice set of wheels, honestly. And the dual bolt pattern means a couple things. 1, I can run them on either machine. And 2, that means it's easier if I'm carrying spares for one machine. I can yank it off there in an emergency and throw it on another. So Honda, Yamaha bolt pattern, that works out great, which by the way, also fits Suzuki. Now, with those wheels comes something else. We also just got today a new set of GBC tires. Yay! I know you guys have seen GBC tires before. However, this is kind of a different set. Normally what you guys see, I run a lot of GBC and stuff. You've got your MX size tires, your 18 rears, your 19 fronts, your work style, which are your 20-inch rears, your 21-inch fronts, and then your desert, your XC Masters. Those you can run all the way up into desert sizes, so your 22-inch rears, 23-inch fronts. But these are actually, these are a 22-inch front, and I have the 21-inch rear to go with them. So they're like an in-between size between desert and your works or your GNCC sizes. The theory behind it is it takes away a lot of that chatter you guys get with braking bumps and things like that. Taller rolling circumference should smooth things out a little bit, but also offers maybe an inch of extra clearance. The compounds are the same, nothing changed there. It's just a little bit taller of a tire, kind of an in-between size. You shouldn't lose any handling. That's the other part. The handling of your 20s and 21s are really good. They're not MX, but they're good. You don't give that up with these. Some of the feedback coming from Logan Huff and I think Travis Damon, they were saying that these don't lose any handling, but you do gain a little bit of clearance and it does smooth out the ride just a little bit. If you're really racing hard constantly, you could probably feel the difference. For anybody else, it's really just the ground clearance you're looking for. So I'm excited to try these. We're gonna slap them on. I'm actually gonna do some wheel swapping so that I can run them on 2 different machines, but let's hop into that. All right, so for anybody who's confused, let me show you what I'm talking about when I say a bunch of wheel swapping. I know it's kind of like I'm playing Tetris right now. I got stuff everywhere. But what I'm aiming to do here is I'm going to take the tires off of those wheels right there. If you guys don't remember, those are the wheels that I run on Randy Savage when we're just off-roading, or I ran those at the Badlands. I'm going to take the tires off there because they're fairly new ground busters, and I'm going to put those onto the Rebel wheels. So I'll have newer GBCs on the rubber wheels.
What?
Rebel wheels, not rubber. That way, when I'm running these, they're going to go onto the Yamaha. I'm going to race this at Glen Helen, that's the plan. But I can also take them off of this, throw them on here, and I can race that in works. That's the idea. But then I'm going to take the wheels that are on the Yamaha. We're going to throw the new GBC tires, the taller size, on those, and those will basically be sitting pit side. So the idea behind it, I want to have the taller tires sitting there so we get to a track, you look at conditions, and then you go, it looks like it's getting rough, I want to run the taller tire. I can slap them on. That's the idea behind it anyway. So you can kind of prep things and have them sitting pit side or just trailer side, whatever it is, and then go out for 50 minutes and beat on the thing. So that's what we're aiming to do today, but I got a lot of breaking down to do and then swapping around. So let's just get to it. Nothing like breaking bands on brand new tires. Oh, they're all smashed. That's okay. Love that. Satisfying. If you guys don't have one of these little things, this is kind of a tiny one, but just a valve stem tool makes life so much easier when you're messing with these. You can go ahead and just remove the valve core. I wish I had the longer one, honestly.
That's what she said.
There. You can drain air so much quicker. Now it's time to break out the Hobo Freight 1,500. Yeah, it may be cheap. I'm not knocking Harbor Freight. But this thing works pretty dang well for these things, so. All right, I take back everything I said about that Harbor Freight bead breaker. It was junk. Piece of junk. Still need that. I struggled for a while to break some beads, and that thing just kept moving around and actually falling apart on me. So forget I said that. Just took everything to local tie shop and had them pop the beads on everything. It was easy. But I wanted to show you guys how I choose tires. There's nothing too complicated about this, all right? But choosing tires for what you're doing is pretty important. A few factors that I bring into it. One, obviously performance. Performance is like the main reason why you buy tires in the first place. If you're racing anyway, for guys on the trail, it might be longevity. That's my second reason. So number one would be performance. Number two would be longevity. I love a durable tire, and GBC has been an extremely durable tire for me. I'll show you guys here in a second a set that I've had on for 2 years. 2 years, no flats. They're just a very durable tire. But another thing is weight. I really like a light tire, but I still want it to perform well. So you kind of have to find a balance in there somewhere. And I have a GB3 front. So this is a Groundbuster 3 front tire. These have been on the market for, I want to say 3 years now. They've come out. I like them a lot. The other one that they're kind of replacing that you could only find from GBC are these XC Masters. All right, the tread design is obviously very different. These are much thicker tire, much more tread. They have a lot of bite, but they're also heavy. We obviously know they're durable, but they're heavy. And I've actually had a little bit of issue out here in the sand with these things. They dig a lot. They take a lot of power to turn and move. They're obviously very good in the XC scene, especially if you're running beadlocks. You're just adding that much more weight. So out here in the sand, I like a tire that floats a little, but still gives me a lot of grip because you have a lot less tread block and you've got a lot more smooth tire showing. These things tend to float really well on the sand and they stay up, but they're also a lot lighter. So I'm going to show you guys here real quick. I went and got a scale for you. It's just a luggage scale, goes up to like 70 pounds, but we're going to show you just how heavy those XC Masters are compared to these Groundbuster 3s. I have a brand new XC Master here. We're just going to hook it right inside the bead. You guys can see I have it set at 0. And I'm going to put the hook in there. We're going to lift. And we've got, what does that say? So 6 kilos. What is that? 10, just about 12 pounds. You guys can see that. So that outside number is pounds. I'm going to leave that mark there. That was the XC Master. Now we're going to weigh the Groundbuster 3. Look at that. So we are at 5 kilos. You can see the difference there. Just a little over 10 pounds. That's about a 2-pound difference. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. I'm not sure if the rears are that much different. They may be more than that even. But you can imagine 4 of these things on your machine, that adds up, especially in rotational mass. You're trying to sling that extra 1.5 pounds around. And when you're into the softer stuff like the sand and the really loamy dirt we have out here, that makes a big difference as well. That's also why I run a rolled lip wheel, even lighter than a beadlock wheel. You don't have all that hardware and the backing plates and stuff spinning around, and then you have a lighter tire on top of that. Everything seems to float a little bit better. Tire pressures have a lot to do with that as well, especially when you run a wider tire, but same size tire, just a different style. you can see a weight difference, pretty significant. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I still choose the Groundbuster over the XC Master, though I know how tough the XC Master is, and it seems to last even longer. It has like double the lifespan. I think it's also because it has a harder rubber compound on it versus the Groundbuster. But now let me show you guys a Groundbuster that I've had on the front wheel for a little over 2 years now. We kind of lucked out here. I actually have 3, and they all vary in age. So this is the oldest one I have, a little over 2 years. You guys can see that center siping is almost gone. These side lugs and everything, they're starting to shape kind of funny just from riding them. Okay, that's 2 years, a little over. This is the set off of Randy Savage I've had since I finished it just last year. When was that? April? About a year of off and on riding on this set. And then over here we have the brand new 22-inch front GB3s. You can see what they look like brand new. So new, a year old, 2 years old. And these have a ton of riding on them. I can't count the hours I've had on these, mainly because I don't have an hour meter. But you can see the varying degree and just how durable these tires still are. And now this is all stuff, it's been trial and error for me. These are the best tires for me that I've found so far. I've run Hoosiers, I've run some ITP, I've run XC Masters, I've run the Groundbusters, I've run, I've also run some Maxxis. For the price point and for how durable and how well they work, this is the best tire that I've run so far. But again, it's been trial and error for me. Hopefully this saves you guys a little bit of time picking and choosing, or it shows you a new tire you guys haven't tried yet. But this is definitely one thing that I go through with all these machines, and then it's also a good thing to have as a sponsor. GBC is a great sponsor because they help me get the tires, and they're one of the things I run through the most. Luckily, because they last so long, I don't go through them as fast as like the Hoosiers. They were a very soft compound, very sticky, but they didn't last as long. I had to go through maybe 2 sets in a year versus 1 set. You can see how long that lasts. I was just racing on that other set on the YFZ earlier this year. I've had them for 2 years already, and I was still out racing on them. Yes, they give up a little bit of performance after a while, but that just goes to show durability is a good thing. Anyway, as you can see, I've got a mountain of tires behind me. So I need to get to debeating these things, and then I'll pop them on, and then I'll show you guys the setup. Now, rolled lip are a little bit more of a pain in the butt, but got a few tire spoons. A couple from the Boxo toolbox, and then a couple of, once again, Hobo Freight ones, but these ones actually work pretty well. So these big ones make pretty quick work of this stuff. So get it about halfway. Should be able to work the bead around by hand. Bam. Boop. There we go. Okay, I just got another idea. I'm gonna weigh the wheels too, and the new tires. Let's see what that weighs. All right, so right here we have a GPS front. As we all know, probably won't be able to get these anymore. So let's take that. What does that weigh? Just under 5 pounds. Okay, we'll call it 4. Let's go to the new RWI wheel. I don't think this is gonna be much different. Ooh, just a hair heavier. We'll call it 4.5. But that's right under 5 pounds as well. It's just a hair heavier. Okay, and here is a DWT. Okay, we have our Douglas, and it weighs right at 5 pounds. We're looking at that green one. Okay, 5 pounds. Now we'll go over here. New RWI. It's going to weigh 6 pounds. So the RWI wheels are a little heavier. I also think they're quite a bit thicker. So a little bit more weight than the Douglas thicker for sure, so there's more aluminum there. But now, let's go into the tire. So here's the new 22-inch front ground buster. What do we have? Oh yeah, that's at 12 pounds, so about the same as the XC Master in the smaller size. All right, so the taller ground buster weighs about the same as the shorter XC Master. So we gained about an inch of clearance, but maintained weight. So that's good. That's what I like. I love the tread pattern and everything on the ground buster. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the taller, heavier ground buster, put it on the lighter wheels, so that when I put the shorter, smaller size ground busters onto the heavier wheels, hopefully everything balances out. That way, when I do switch and I try to get the taller tire for, like, let's say deeper, sandier, loamy conditions, I'm not giving up weight, I'm just gaining ground clearance. That's the hope. So that's kind of the idea behind what I'm doing here, swapping wheels and tires and things like that. Just kind of race prepping, really. So yeah, let's mount some tires and then I'll slap those things on and we'll see how it does. Nice, right at 6. Now these RWIs didn't come with torque specs or anything in them, but since they're very similar to the Albos and the GPS bead locks, I'm gonna go to 8 foot-pounds. All right, what you guys haven't seen is that was actually a couple hours, or I should say almost 3 hours of cleaning wheels, de-beading tires, putting new tires on, seating them, cleaning them again, moving them around. Now we're back in here, cleaned up all the tools. We're done with that for the day, but I had something else in mind. After I mounted everything, I got to thinking, well, I want to check the total weight on everything after I said I weighed the wheels, the tires already. So let's find out what those are. We'll start here with the RWI wheel and ground buster, and we are at, right at 15 pounds. Let me show you guys. I don't know if you can see that. I know I'm touching the tire just a little bit. I'm trying not to. Let's see if I can reset it and do it again here. Okay, we're still right at about, we'll call it 16 pounds for the RWI wheel and 21-inch ground buster. Now let's go to the big guy. So there's our mark. You guys can see our mark from the last one. Let's see what this bad boy weighs. I have a feeling it'll be close. It's probably still going to be heavier though. The tires were about a 2-pound difference and the wheels were only about a 1. Oh, check this out. 15 pounds. So it is right on the nose. It's just a hair lighter than the RWI wheel and the 21-inch ground buster. That is, oh, here, we're gonna reset it, make sure it's good. I'm actually kind of surprised. That is right at 15 pounds. That's incredible. So the bigger tire on the GPS wheel is actually lighter by, we're talking 1 pound, maybe a little less than that, than the shorter tire on the RWI wheel. Unfortunately, GPS isn't making wheels anymore. RWI is the new kid on the block. They've got some nice stuff. Definitely looks good. Looks like a slightly better built Alba, maybe. What I do like about this though versus a Douglas is that you have dual bolt pattern. So I can move these things across all the quads I have in the garage, which is great. The wheels, the RWI rears definitely look killer. It's a sharp looking wheel. Will it hold up? I have no doubt. I've had Albas hold up to all kinds of stuff, so I'm not worried about them holding up. Price point, a little cheaper than DWT, a little bit more expensive than Alba, so they fall right in between the two. Definitely a good, affordable option. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rears as well. I know I didn't weigh the rear tires, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the rear tires and wheels together right here in front of you guys. See what they come out to be. Just gonna hook it right inside the ring. And we have, what is that? 20, we'll call it 22. That is right at 22 pounds as I'm holding this outstretched. 22 pounds. All right, here we go with the DWTs. Oh, actually a little heavier. We're at about 23 pounds on there. So the rears are lighter with the RWI, but the fronts are heavier with the RWI. Boy, that's weird. Well, that's what I was kind of hoping for, that everything would even out. We're within 1 to 2 pounds of each other. If you cross them from front to back, it's a wash, it seems like. So that's pretty cool. We could sit here and argue about wheels and tires all day. There are so many different combinations. There are so many different preferences. But for anybody looking to get into ATV racing, think about these considerations: how heavy they are, how durable they are, how well they perform, and do they suit your needs? As far as wheels go, you really only have a few options anyway, unless you really want to spend some money and buy some Kaiser wheels or some OMF wheels. You're gonna be spending a pretty penny for those. You can go real cheap and get the rocks, but I don't know if those are gonna be any good. We know Alba works, we know that GPS works, and we know DWT works, but since GPS isn't there, we're filling that gap with RWI, and they are a killer looking wheel. Definitely a little on the heavier side, but they look like they kind of wash out between front to rear, and I think they're gonna perform just fine. We've already got some people running them. They're a good wheel. We're gonna go ahead and do it too. There, so hopefully that solves the great tire debate for some of you guys. As long as they perform the way you need them to, as long as they're durable enough for you, as long as they fit the needs that you have, you should have no issues. Take that knowledge and go forth and do rad things with it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.